Good afternoon, everybody. August 12th, 2023. And, of course, I wasn't going to make a video, but I always got to make a video. I don't know why, but maybe it'll help some people, because I really didn't find a video on this. I don't need a video on it, but, you know, sometimes it helps save a little time. So, I'm doing the rear brake line. Okay? Now let me explain. This is a 72. This is a non-servo dual circuit, front and rear. So this is the rear one. So I cleaned this up. I hit it with penetrant. I use PB Blaster. And so this one comes off right here. Okay? When you're looking at it, it's the left bottom one. If you're looking at it from the right side of the car. If you're looking at it from the left side of the car, it's the right side. Well, anyway, you see which one it is right here. So this one runs, hold on, am I upside down here? Alright, I tried to make it right for you guys. It's this one. When you're looking at it from the right side of the car, it's the left bottom line. And that one takes a path behind this plate, behind the engine, and then let me go to the other side. Okay. All right. So it's this one. Okay. And it goes down into no man's land, but it's not really no man's land. It turns towards the back of the car. Okay. Oh, by the way, these other lines are clutch lines, fuel lines, and evaporative lines from the gas tank. So don't worry about these other lines. And you'll notice they're larger in diameter. Here's a wire harness. Okay. So these other lines are for other things. This is the brake on my car. And I got to figure out how to get this out of here. They got these clips on the body. I don't know if I'm just going to run the new line. I just cut this out and run the new line on top. You know, just cut it. Because otherwise I'm going to have to take all this other stuff out, which is, you know, when they build these cars, everything's done in a certain order. And, you know, I'm not trying to take apart the whole car to do a brake line. It's just not necessary. So this is the rear line. Now it goes down, and there's a coupler on the inside of the frame rail. There's a coupler. Female coupler. Let me get in the car here so I could show you the coupler. Where am I here? Where's the darn coupler now? Make a liar out of me, why don't you? Oh, well, by the way, the brake line is the smaller one. See all these clamps? See all these nice clamps with the rubber piece to hold the lines in? The brake line is the closest one towards you on the passenger side of the car, which is nice. Okay, so, oh, here's the coupler. Here's the coupler. So now I blew out my brake line on this rear line of the coupler. Let me point to it. This is the one I blew. So the front one, this one looks okay. I may leave it and just change, unscrew this, maybe put a new coupler on or leave the old one. But this is my bad line right here that blew out. It blew out somewhere in here. Now don't, you see all that wet? That's not all brake fluid. It's I sprayed penetrant on these nuts to get them off. Okay, so here's the rear line, tracing it back. Okay, I apologize. Of course it's starting to rain. Here's the rear line. Now the rear line, is my light on? Yeah, it's on. Okay. Why isn't my light working here? Hold on. Torch off, torch on. Okay, the rear line. Oh, there we go. Okay, now the rear line goes to this bracket and to a rubber line. Now, as you can see, so I only really have to replace this line here. Where is it? This one here. I'm trying to. Okay, yeah, this one here. Finally. Now, somebody changed this rear hose, but it looks like they didn't want to be bothered with getting it out of the bracket, or maybe it was giving them a hard time. So I don't know if I'm going to leave those tie wraps there. So anyway, I got a good rear hose. Then there's a coupler back here. All right, see the coupler? And then you have two hard lines going to each of the brake wheel cylinders. One goes to the left side of the vehicle, and the short one here goes to the right. So I'm going to change those two, and this one here, which looks like the Titanic. And if you notice, just as a side topic, my rubber hoses to the fuel pump are really bad. Here they are. Here's one right here. This is the output line that goes up to the engine. And look at the one from the fuel tank. It's cracked. And it's a little wet over here. So I don't know if that banjo connection is loose. But, you know, this is going to get changed. Because, you know, when you see cracks like that, my clutch rubber hose has cracks like that too. So anyway, so as you can see, there's 4 lines running from the hood to the coupler that's right inside the frame rail. Then there's another line running back to the rubber line right here. Starting to rain out, of course. And then there's the rubber line, then it goes to that coupler on the axle. You got the 2 lines going to the wheel cylinders. Okay, so that's the plan. I don't know yet if I'm going to change the front one, even though I'm ready to change it. I may change it and just run the line on top of the other ones. That'll take a few points off from winning a trophy. But this car is for fun, okay? It's not for winning trophies. I like winning a trophy every now and then at a car show, but this car is for fun. Okay. So there you go. Talk to you in a bit. Bye. Just an aside, sometimes it's annoying for me to have to make a video. And I'll tell you why. Every time I make a video, I think I have to lower my radio because there's music on, and because of these stupid, ridiculous copyright laws, you know, these musicians and these lawyers, they're all pain in the necks because, you know, be thankful I'm listening to your music. You know, we all have to make a living, but me just working on my car in my backyard with some music on, I shouldn't have to worry about a stupid lawyer, and getting sued just because I'm working on my car in my backyard and listening to some tunes. That is just ridiculous, and it's just really pathetic. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Okay, as you can see, this is a 7/16. So I decided to not be lazy. I'm going to change this line too, the front line. So reliable brakes over beauty. Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do back here. I'm just going to pull out the old line from the right side of the car. I'm going to cut it and pull it out. And I'm just going to lay the new line back behind this, in this tray. And it's beautiful copper nickel lines that I got. Automech is the company that makes them, and they're sized for the car. So So that's what I'm going to do. Not going to be lazy. So this is a 7/16, everybody. Now the problem with some of these old things, if you ever worked on old cars, is that there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, hopefully when I unscrew this, I'm not going to damage the threads inside this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get a new one. So I'm hoping I won't damage them. So I'm upside down here. So I'm actually have to turn this to the right clockwise. And what I do is I give the wrench a tap. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. It loosened. Let me get a better angle here, okay? Oh yeah, nice and smooth here. Alright, I'm not going to show you. Then you can use any other tool. You know, once you break the line with this, you can use a open end wrench if you want. If you replace the line, you can actually cut it and put a socket on there, or a ratchet type wrench. Alright, I'm going to shut the video because you don't need to see me do this a million times. Anyway, here's the tool I'm using. 7/16. Kind of like brake line. Do they call these crow's foot? I'm not sure. Flare nut wrench set. Okay. Here's the set I'm using. I'm not sure. I think it's a... Oh, it's a gearhead set. Yeah, okay. And I have a metric set too because there's all different size lines. Alright, the threads look good. So the threads are probably good in this splitter here. Okay? Alright. Good stuff. So here's the line on the passenger side. If I keep going like this, it'll break off right at the clamp there. Okay? Just make it easier. You know, there are other lines in this clamp, and I'm going to leave the clamp and just run the new line. I'll only have to leave, well, I'll try to pull out the old line and then just run the new one behind there and down into the bottom of the car. You know, you don't want to make more work for yourself unless you're doing a total restoration where everything's got to come off. Don't make more work for yourself. Just get brakes. That's important. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm disconnecting the rear line here. This is the rear line. And I'm just going to hold the hex coupler with an adjustable wrench, okay? So I don't have to disconnect them, but it just makes it easier. Then I'm going to remove this near nut on all the clamps and just bend the clamp down because the brake line is right here. I don't need to really take, you know, the other, like here's, see, this has a nut here and a bolt here and a bolt here. Only need maybe to take this one off and take this one off and bend the clamp down. Okay. Okay, what I did was I separated the front line from the rear line. Here's the coupler. You look inside the coupler and it's it certainly looks to be in good shape in there. I do have a new one though. Now there's a frame rail clamp over here. I thought I could just pull this through, but I didn't see this clamp here. I'm going to clean that up and see if I could remove it. Otherwise, I'll just break the line and pull it through. And then find another means to run the new one and attach it to the frame rail. I think that might be a bolt or a screw down there. We'll see. Okay, I just cut this line. I'm not going to try to get that clamp open and do collateral damage today. So here's the line that goes down, so that I'll be pulling up soon. I'm going to try to get that bottom clamp off. And here's the tool. Wait, if you squeeze the old steel brake line, this tool doesn't cut it, but you squeeze it and then you just bend it and it breaks right off. So I'm going to come around to this side, and I'm going to break this, see this line here? I'm going to break it right here at this clamp. This clamp I might be able to get a screwdriver under. The other one was a little hard to get. Okay, this line is loose. This is just showing me the routing. This is where that was cut right there. There's the clip. You know, these could be a little rusted, so if I open them, they're going to break off. So, you know, that's got the clutch line running through it. I'm not going to mess with that right now because the clutch line is good. All right. Okay, the whole front line that goes from the valve there, the left bottom, remember the left bottom port there, runs through this trough, comes out here by the clamp, then goes down to another clamp that's on the inside of the frame rail, and then connects to the coupler. So let's go underneath and see what I have to remove to get the back line off. Okay, here's the beginning of the rear line. Let's trace it. So here's the first clamp. So I'm going to just try to take that this one nut off and bend it down. Hope I can do that. Then there's a clamp here right behind the cross member. There's the cross member. I know I gotta paint that or something. And let me get my torch on here. So here's the other clamp. I'm gonna try to loosen that nut. Good luck. But there's the brake line again. It's the most outside one. All right, then it goes through another clamp. This one's nice and oily, so it'll be easy to get this bolt out here. Some of them are nuts and some of them are bolts. If you break them, you're going to have to get to them to the inside of the car. Now I PB blasted these things with a rust penetrant. So anyway, you got the one up front here. All right, and that's some wiring going through here. See, this is wiring. That's a wiring clamp, and there's the brake line. So let's trace it. Behind the frame rail, you have this other clamp. There's the little brake line, the one closest to the camera. Then you got this one, and it kind of makes a turn. I just tie wrap some wires, don't know where they go yet. There's another clamp, and there's the brake line. Then I got this metal clamp here, and then the final one is right here, and then following the line back makes a bend up. Let me try to zoom. Makes a bend up to the rubber line. So there you go. It's a pretty simple run. Couple of bends with the copper nickel pipes. You can use a line bender, or you can do it by hand. Okay, bye. All right, I got just. I don't know if you can see there. Got the first nut off. You know, I broke it. You know, I just tapped the ratchet with the palm of my hand, my other hand, and You know, and then I actually went clockwise a little bit, then went counterclockwise and tried to work it. Then I loosened this metal strap here. That I was able to get an 11 millimeter on that. So as you can see, I have rusty nuts. But the beauty is that they are still very functional. Okay, we're going to continue. Now, I was able to get 11 millimeter around here. The bolt heads are larger, so they may be like 12 or 13, maybe. We'll see. Okay, this one here on the cross member, as you can see, is a 13 millimeter. Okay. Okay, I forgot this one here. We're not quite at the 13 millimeter. I have this one here. So there's the first one. That one's out. And behind the cross member is the second one. That looks like it should come out okay. And then this 13 millimeter should be pretty easy. And then that one should be pretty easy, and then we'll just continue. Only use an extension if you really have to. See, sometimes they get a little tight, so I tighten them back in a little bit. Oh, that's getting tight. Alright, I gotta put the camera down to work on this, but it'll come out. Okay, this one's coming out. I'm gonna hit it with a little more penetrant to, maybe there's a big rusty spot on the end of the bolt or something. So I'm gonna hit it with a little penetrant. It'll wick up the threads and hopefully make it a little bit easier to get off. I can, you know, certainly gorilla it off, but let's just take baby steps. Alright, it's actually this bolt that's giving me a hard time. The one that's on the cross member, but I've been using the penetrant and working it back and forth. And I'm only putting enough torque on it as a 1/4 inch drive can really do. You know, I'm not stressing it. I don't want to shear it. I don't think I'll shear it. It's a steel bolt. But this is giving me a hard time. This one's no problem. I pulled it down. Piece of cake. And here's some of these are the nuts, and there's the bracket with the rubber piece in there that keeps the lines in place and from rubbing against each other. So little by little. And that's what she looks like. Here. Wipe it off. Hopefully the threads are okay on this. Let's wipe it off a little bit. Let me look at it here. Yeah, well, that is a little middle section. There's a little bit of a middle section here that, I don't know if you can see this. Here, let me bring it over here. They're not in bad shape, the threads. Well, we'll see how it goes when I put it back in. Alright, so that was the bolt. That was the bolt, 13 millimeter hex. Alright, so I pulled this bracket down. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I love when that happens. So the bracket I pulled down on the cross member. Pull the rubber piece down, and there's your brake line, okay? Alright, just one more nut to get off back there. Alright, last one coming off. This is a nut, of course, last one. So there's 2 nuts in front of the cross member, then there's the bolt, and then there's 2 nuts behind the cross member. If you just want to bend this bracket down without taking off the rear nuts. Okay, simple. Alright, here's the rear line here. I'm just going to cut it right, a couple inch, like an inch back, and then I'm going to get a ratchet on here, and then I'm going to hold this nut. Somebody tie wrapped that there. You can see the repair somebody made. But I have to get this line off. So I'm just going to use a deep socket and going to cut the line, then use a deep socket to loosen the nut there. Okay, I'm going to try to get off this old rubber line. Somebody kind of just tie wrapped the new line to it. Here's the, well, you can't see it. There's the new line. And I have to cut the metal line. So I'm going to have to get off that rusty nut there on the good rubber line. There's the good rubber line coming out of the coupler on the axle. But what I did, I'm trying to use the bracket again, so I put a vice grip on the old hose, okay? And I wedged the vice grip for leverage against the leaf spring. So this vice grip is not going to move. It's locked onto the old pipe, okay? Rear tie's on the ground, so it's safe. I mean, I'm jacked up on jack stands here. Anyway, so I'm going to get my ratchet. It's a 14 millimeter on this nut. And unscrew that. Hopefully we'll be successful and we can reuse this bracket. Because somebody changed the rear brake line, but just kind of didn't bother putting it through the bracket and just tie wrapped it to the old hose. Which, that was some ingenuity there, but... maybe they were in a hurry, I don't know, but okay, we're going to try to do this right. Just a quick correction, this is not a 14 millimeter, it's a 15 millimeter. 15 millimeter. Okay, bye. Okay, well, I put a ratchet here, and I undid the brake line from here, the one that I cut. Hold on, let me get it. Alright, so this was the piece that I cut so I can get a ratchet on here. But then I had to hold the good hose in the car. This is not the good hose. Someone used the tie wraps to, so this was kind of here, and the other rubber hose, the new one, was down here, tie wrapped to this. So I'm going to use this nut and this star washer, it's still good, to attach the good hose that this was attached to back into the bracket. Make it nice again. I'll show you. Okay, so I have my vice grip in place on the hex of the good hose that runs back up there. See it coming down. Kind of goes up and comes down. Hold on. Yeah, goes up there. Comes down, goes on the axle. Right there. And there's your 2 hard lines. So, just going to secure this first, because that's what I'm attaching the new brake lines to. So I've been out here all day just removing just the rear brake line, but you do it right, it'll be good for another 20 years. Okay, in the previous video I said I was holding the old hose with a ratchet. I meant to say vice grips. So now I have the vice grips on the new hose, and I got the star washer in there and the nut, and that's all tightened. I'm going to leave the vice grip here because it'll come in handy when I'm tightening the hard line onto here. Now I'm gonna have to take a break from under the car because I gotta order some parts. I gotta order these rubber things and some of the cable clamps. Some of the wire cable. These guys are very thin and rusted out. These are okay. These are thin and rusted out. And these rubber things are all worn out. These rubber. So I'm going to order those. But I think I could do the front line under the hood today and get that done. There's the hole for that bolt. So, okay. Some of these rubber things are in bad condition. One of them is ripped. This one is ripped. I'm sorry about the camera angles. I guess it doesn't matter because I'm under the car, so you could see that that one is kind of ripped, and I'm gonna fix that. So I'm gonna start working under the hood. I have a little more energy left to just run the line under the hood. All right, so basically it took me all day almost to here's the old things that were removed from the vehicle. I don't know where the actual brake was, where the line blew out. So there you go. I bought this whole kit. I used a kit like this on the TR7, and it was kind of fun to use, and they let you know the lines are they're marked, so they let you know which ones go where. So I think I'm going to tackle one under the hood right now. Yeah, these are good lines. You could bend them with your hands if you want, but I have a brake line bending tool that helps for the sharp angles. Okay, bye. So here's the one I'm going to do under the hood. It's number 9, front union to inline connector. That's the inline coupler, which is nice. Kit comes with a brand new one. There's the old one. I'm going to use the new one. So this is number 9. That has similar connectors on each end, the small ones. You can call those the male ones. Then, see, it says number 16 is inline connected to rear hose. I got a little nervous because there wasn't a number 10 that says inline connected to rear union. But that's not used on this car. 16. This is the right one right here, 16. And this goes to the inline connector, the male end, right? And then this goes to the rear hose. But I'm not running number 16 today. I'm just gonna form number 9 under the hood one, and just leave it dangling under the car with the cap on so it doesn't get dirty till I get the rest of the parts in. I gotta order some parts. Thank you. Alright, I'm not going to show all the bends, but this is the first one that comes out of the junction box with the brake fail switch there. You know, so I kind of opened this up. So by hand, there's soft lines. I could almost do this bend by hand, but I'm going to use this. I use this little brake line tool, Capri, and you know, try to make the lines with the bends the way they were originally. Otherwise, they may not reach. You know, so that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to show you this part, but all I'm going to do is connect this to the junction and run this down the car. I'll show you where I run it. You know, run it across the cowl behind the engine where that trough is, where all the lines are, and then down into the bottom of the car by the frame rail where the old one was run, and then I'll wind up where this guy goes, the union, not the union, the coupler, female adapter, whatever you want to call it. Okay, bye. So when using one of these, take baby steps. This is the first bend I made. Pretty good. I mean, I actually didn't do it well, and I had to undo it. And so just try to take baby steps. You'll get the hang of this tool. It's an art, trust me. Alright, so here's my one bend by the union up here, the junction box. You don't want to go crazy with the bends. You know, do what you can. But you can't do all the bends. Some bends you have to do on the car. So right now you could see I'm threading this, you know, where the old one was, in this trough back here. Alright, let's go to the other side now, hold on. Okay, here we are on the other side. There's the tip. It's protected, of course. You leave that on there. And then I'm going to come over here and then go down there into no man's land. And just let it hang out there till I'm ready to do the other line that connects to it. This goes to a coupler under the car inside the frame rail. And then the other line connects to it. But I'm not ready to do the other line yet because I got to order the some parts, rubber gasket things, and some wire holders. I can get the wire holders anywhere, but I'll just order them. Get the right ones. So I'm just feeding this through. See? All I did was that bend there. There you go. Okay, with a little wrestling, you know, be careful. Do it right. It's back there. Right now it's just coming out, hanging out in front of the engine. What I did was I removed my ignition wire here. Just shoved it in here, out of the way. Because you gotta think about where's this line going. So this line I have to bend down there. So I have to be able to do that once this is fixed to the junction box there, see? So let's go over there. You want to have the perfect angle to get that fitting. Right angles to the connector, so that has to comfortably go in that port, okay? It has to be orthogonal to it, okay? You remember your geometry. So I got the bend there. It's not perfect, but it'll work. So I'll just show you, see? That's run back there where the old line ran. And it comes out where the old line came out. And then it's just going to go down to the bottom of the car there. Here's a little trick that I use. If I'm going to be bending this line down over here to go down there, I don't want to be putting stress on the junction over there because I'm going to screw that in first. Then I'm going to bend this line down. And this tie wrap here will just prevent any damage. You know, prevent any torque. And you know, once that's in there, I don't want it to be stressed, even though it's pretty strong. This way it'll just hang in there, not cause any problems. Alright, changing plans. I'm going to push this down there, route it properly, before I connect that into the junction. Okay, so I'm just going to bend this down there. Kind of runs to the side of the big pipe here, this coming off the carbon canister drain pipe. Okay folks, I'm gonna wrap this up. So I just have to order some parts, the gaskets. I don't know if I'm gonna make a part 2 on this, because it's just reassembly of the new lines, bending the one under the car. So here's this one, it's all done. Make sure you don't cross thread, because if you cross thread, you're buying a new one of these, and then you got to redo all the lines. You know, make sure, you know, you have to reinstall all of these fittings again. So there it goes. Let's trace it. I didn't put my air filter back on yet, so it runs back here just like the old one ran. Let's go across. Comes across here. I still have my tie wrap just holding that. I'll leave that there for now. And I use the socket to bend a nice, you know, to make a bend here. A nice bend so it wasn't hitting the edge here. And then it goes down into what I call no man's land. So you want to make sure it's not in the way of anything that the OEM one wasn't. And this is really tight, making that cut. I think it's actually more efficient than it was run in the factory. And we go underneath. By the way, get a nice 1/4 inch set, 1/4 inch ratchet set. So what I did was, well, it's easy to see the clean part under the car. So you see it. Now it's not going to be rubbing against that corner when I'm done with it. I'm going to have a nice bend there. And right now I just hooked it to the wire harness to hold it. And this is the end that's ready for the coupling. Leave the yellow cover on. And that's that. Here's some parts. You guys know what those parts are for. Each of these nuts has a lock washer. And there you go. There's one of the pieces that was only bolted down on the one side. That's the only reason why that one's off. It's this one right here. Where is it? Right here. See, it has a slot here. That one side goes into. That's it. I don't know if I'm going to make a part 2, but I think you guys could take it from here. Do this one line, just, you know, thread it through. You could bend these lines with your hands, the nickel copper lines, and so this guy's going to hang out here. This is where the coupler goes to mate with the rear line. That's all, folks. Thanks for spending a nice Saturday with me. The weather was beautiful today on Long Island in North Babylon. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, any comments, please let me know. Bye.